How do websites work and what is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Don't worry, I'm not going to make this boring. I'm going to show you with a real life example. So imagine we want to create the website I just showed you, that landing page for this magic kit. First, we have to think about the content we want to add. In this case, for example, we want to add the name of the product, which will be a title, maybe a short description, which will be a paragraph, a button to go buy the product, and maybe some product images right here. Okay, so the content is defined by HTML. That's the first thing we have to think about. HTML stands for Hypertext Markdown Language. So this is not a programming language. This only defines the content we're going to add. Now we want to style it. We're going to style it with CSS, Cascading Style Sheet. Why is it this name? We will learn in the future. But what it does, it tells the content how it has to look. So for example, we want the name to be on the middle, as well as the paragraph. Okay, so it's not going to be at the left, it's going to be on the middle. And then we are going to add some spacing, and the button is going to be very big and also in the middle. Then we're going to add another section with the images right next to the other, like this. And maybe we want to add a red background right here, and maybe we want the button to have rounded corners. So this is defined by CSS. But first we have to define the content. Then we added some styling, and then what we're going to do is add functionality with what is called JavaScript. Okay, this is the real programming language which we can use to create things like, okay, when you click this button, I want a pop-up to appear. And maybe in that pop-up, I want a countdown. So it says, hey, 3 hours, 1 minute and 8 seconds until it finishes. Click here to take this promotion. So this is done by JavaScript. So this is how websites work. HTML define the content. CSS define the styling. And JavaScript define the functionality. So we're going to create our first website, really simple one. For this, you can use the notepad, okay? So I'm going to, you don't see it, but I'm going to open the notepad because websites are plain text. You don't need anything else than a text editor. You can even use Word or any program that allows you to create some text. Now with the notepad, you're going to save this file as HTML. But first, we're going to add some content. Imagine I have here the title, the name of the product. So I'm going to say product name. I'm going to add here the description of the product and a button like which says buy me. Okay, how do we tell the website, the browser, that this is a title, this is a paragraph, and this is a button? Well, the title, it's called heading. So we add an H, and we have different headings. We can have a heading 1, heading 2, which means that let me show you right here. So heading 1 will be a main heading, like very important. We have a title, which will be a heading 1. Okay, we have a subtitle, which will be heading 2, then a title smaller, and then one smaller, which will be A3, H4, etc. Okay, and how does the browser knows that this H1 is not text, and it means that this is a heading? Well, we only add brackets, one at the beginning, one at the end, and then we close it again with another H1 and a close tag. Okay, so this is how we make it. We add here H1 at the beginning with a bracket opening and closing it, and another one at the end with at the beginning, a tag that closes it. Okay, this means it's being closed. Okay, so these tags are defining the area where we have a heading 1, which is a title. So this will be transformed into a title because it's between an H1 tag and a closing H1 tag with this slash right here. And a paragraph, well, just add P because it's a paragraph, and a closing paragraph. And a button, really simple, just add button and a closing button. Now, if we save this as text, it's not going to work. But if we save as and say all files, so we can modify the extension and say website.html, so it's an HTML file, which is the extension for websites, for web pages. We save this, close this, and now when we open this file, which I should have it over here, okay, here is the website file. If I open it, you can see here we have a title with the product name, a description, and a button. Of course, this doesn't work because we haven't added any functionality, but at least we have the content. And now I can, this file, right click, open with Notepad. If you don't have it here, you can say choose another app and use the Notepad, okay? Or any text editor. I can open one right to the next. And if I change this from product name to, or maybe add an H2, so it's H2, subtitle, okay? And a closing H2, save. If I refresh here, we have a subtitle, and you can see it's smaller because it has H2. If we add an H3, it will be smaller, etc. But we want to add some styling. How can we do it? Well, we create an style tag. So we add here a style, an opening tag, and if you create an opening tag, you need a closing tag. Great. And here we can style it with CSS. We will learn later on everything you need to know about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is just a real example. You can follow along so you can try and learn what each part is doing. Okay, so now imagine we want to make the title blue. Okay, so I'm going to say H1, I'm going to open these brackets right here, and I'm going to say the color, 2 points, is going to be blue. I'm going to close it and close the bracket. File, save. If I refresh, the title is blue. If I change this blue to red and save, refresh, and you can see the product is red. Let's make something more complex. I'm going to take the button, opening bracket, make sure when you open something, you open the bracket here, you close it here. When you open the 2 points, you close it here, okay? And I'm going to say, okay, the button is going to have a background color of red and a text color of white, okay? And I'm even going to add a border radius, which, well, let me do this first so you can see it, okay? So I'm going to save, refresh, and you can see white text, red background. I'm going to add now a border radius of 10 pixels. Pixels is the main unit used to measure things in a website, because a screen is made out of pixels, so each pixel is 1 unit of size. Okay, so if I save this, you can see now if I refresh, the borders are rounded, and I can even add some spacing, adding padding. Okay, this is what is used for spacing. So maybe I can add 10 pixels. Remember to always close each line. I save it and refresh, and now the button is bigger. Or maybe I can add a text ball. I can add whatever you want. All the websites that you see on the internet are created with this basic CSS, okay? But now we want to add some functionality. Well, this is created with an script tag, okay? So we open the tag, we close it, and here we can add any functionality we want. For example, I want to create an alert, so when the people load the page, I say, welcome to my page, for example. So I create alert here, open. This command right here is to say I'm going to use text. Don't worry, we will go in deep in JavaScript. This is just an example. So I'm going to say, welcome to my page. Again, this one is not content, it's not HTML that I'm adding here, it's JavaScript because it's a script, so this won't be shown on the website. Let me show you how it will be shown. So I'm going to save, refresh, and here I have an alert that I can close. So each time the user refreshes the page, they see this alert right here. So that's what JavaScript does. It allows you to add a functionality to your page. That can be a menu, a countdown, or anything you imagine. When you see video games that you can play in the browser, they are created, all of them, with JavaScript. And any website you have seen with some crazy functionalities like Google Maps, where you can go around the map, save stuff, all that is created with JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. So I hope you understand the basics. Now we can begin with the course.